What's up, everybody? So lately, we've been seeing a ton of dash cams showing up online promising 4K quality, premium protection, AI features, all this crazy marketing stuff. But once you actually start using a lot of them, you realize pretty quickly that half of these setups feel incomplete straight out of the box. So today, we have this Magellan DR52, which feels like one of those dash cams that's trying really hard to avoid all that nonsense. They're basically an American brand. So you don't have to worry if the dash cam is another cheap Chinese one. And honestly, DR52 definitely gives a much more polished premium feel before we even hit the road. So let's get into the details. Now, right out of the box, the DR52 setup honestly feels very straightforward. You're getting the front camera, the rear camera, the 360-degree swivel mount, car charger, hard wire kit, static window stickers, cable clips, trim tool, a long rear cable, and a 128GB high-endurance SD card already included inside the package. The rear camera cable is around 8 meters long too, which honestly helps a lot if you're installing this inside larger SUVs, trucks, or longer vehicles. Then there's the hardwire kit. And again, this is something cheaper brands constantly skip. A lot of dash cams advertise parking mode, but then later you realize you still need another separate wiring kit to actually use it properly. But here, Magellan already includes everything from the beginning. Now, one nice little bonus here is that Magellan is also offering free fuse taps for early customers. And honestly, redeeming it is pretty simple too. Just find the highlighted promo section on the Amazon page, select Claim Free Item, switch to the Benefit Items tab, and add the fuse tap kit to your cart. The discount gets applied automatically during checkout. Installation itself honestly feels pretty easy too. The front camera uses a simple adhesive mount system, and because the camera rotates a full 360 degrees, positioning it properly on different windshield angles feels really easy. And honestly, we actually liked that more than expected, because depending on your vehicle, some dash cams become super annoying to align correctly. But here, adjusting angles feels quick and simple. Then the rear camera setup works basically the same way. Stick it onto the rear glass, route the long cable through the headliner and trim panels, and connect it back to the front unit. Now obviously, rear cable routing still takes a little patience like basically every dual dash cam setup out there. The included trim tool and cable clips help clean things up nicely. Now, one thing we noticed immediately after powering the DR52 on is that the menu system doesn't feel overly complicated. And honestly, we appreciate that a lot, because some dash cams nowadays bury important settings behind endless menus and weird app-only controls. But here, most of the important stuff is directly accessible on screen. Parking mode timers, voltage cutoff protection, time-lapse recording, detection methods, GPS setup. It's all pretty straightforward. And honestly, for normal daily drivers, that simplicity matters, because most people buying dash cams aren't trying to spend their entire afternoon watching tutorials just to change basic settings. Now, when it comes to actual recording quality, this is where the DR52 starts becoming genuinely impressive. Because unlike a lot of those fake 4K dash cams floating around online right now, this thing actually records true 4K footage from both the front and rear cameras. And honestly, once you start looking at real driving footage, the difference becomes pretty obvious. Daytime clarity looks really sharp. Road signs stay readable. License plates remain visible at reasonable distances. And overall image detail honestly feels very clean, especially from the front camera. Even during bright daytime driving, the HDR processing does a pretty solid job balancing shadows and highlights without completely blowing out the sky or crushing darker areas. Now, one thing we actually ended up liking quite a bit is the flexibility of the display layouts. You can switch between front-only view, rear-only view, dual camera layouts, or prioritize whichever feed you want larger on screen. And honestly, during real driving situations, that's actually pretty useful. Nighttime performance is probably where this camera matters most. And thankfully, the DR52 actually performs really well here. Both the front and rear cameras use Sony Starvis 2 sensors combined with HDR processing, and honestly, nighttime visibility looks noticeably cleaner than a lot of cheaper systems we've tested before. Street lights stay more controlled, darker roads still keep decent detail, and oncoming headlights don't completely destroy the image exposure. Now, is it perfect? No. Extremely dark roads will still challenge basically any dashcam eventually. But overall, the DR52 handles low-light driving way better than the average budget setup. The rear camera surprised us too, because rear cameras usually struggle hard once glare and low-light noise start kicking in at night. But here, the rear footage actually stays surprisingly usable even in darker environments. Now, parking protection is another area where the DR52 honestly feels more complete than expected. You've got collision detection, smart motion detection, time-lapse parking recording, automatic event recording, customizable timers, and battery voltage cutoff protection directly built into the system. And honestly, we really like that Magellan made all these parking controls directly accessible through the on-screen menus instead of hiding everything behind the app. Because sometimes you just want to quickly change a setting without reconnecting your phone every single time. The included hardwire kit makes this whole parking mode setup feel much more valuable overall, especially because a lot of competing dashcams advertise advanced parking protection, but then charge extra afterward just to unlock it properly. Now, the app experience itself honestly feels pretty straightforward too. You connect the camera, preview footage, access recordings, adjust settings, and download clips directly to your phone. Nothing overly flashy here. It works well enough for daily use. Emergency recordings can also be locked automatically, and you can enable or disable audio recording depending on how you want to use the system. The biggest thing separating the DR52 from a lot of random online dashcams isn't necessarily one feature. It's the overall ownership experience, because this thing already includes the SD card, the hardwire kit, parking mode support, GPS, true dual 4K recording, and then Magellan backs it with a 3-year warranty too, which honestly is longer than what we usually see from a lot of competing systems. And weirdly enough, that stuff matters. Because there are so many cheap dashcams online right now advertising fake upscaled footage, weak nighttime performance, unstable parking modes, terrible apps, and tiny warranties that disappear after a few months. Meanwhile, the DR52 honestly feels much more polished overall. Now, with all that said, the DR52 still isn't perfect. To us, this definitely isn't one of those ultra-tiny stealth dashcams that completely disappear behind your mirror. The body itself is a little more noticeable compared to minimalist setups. So if you want something stealthy or OEM style, this won't fulfill your need. But other than that, everything else seemed just fine. So overall, the Magellan DR52 honestly feels like a very well-rounded dual dashcam setup, built for real-world daily driving. The true 4K front and rear footage looks sharp. Nighttime visibility is genuinely solid thanks to the Starvis 2 sensors. The parking protection features actually feel useful, and the overall setup experience feels surprisingly beginner-friendly. But honestly, what we probably appreciate most here is that Magellan didn't make this thing feel incomplete out of the box. You're getting the SD card, the hardwire kit, GPS, parking mode support, dual cameras, and a strong warranty all together without constantly needing extra purchases afterward. And right now, that honestly makes the DR52 feel more premium than a lot of competing systems floating around online. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this one. Let us know down in the comments. Would you rather have a super tiny minimalist dashcam? Or do you care more about getting stronger features, better parking protection, and cleaner video quality overall? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more automotive tech and car gadget content like this, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.